Hello, Internet, and welcome to another mildly interesting episode of Real Debate. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. Joining me today, we have Nate.
Hello.
And John.
Yo.
And today, we're continuing with In the Name of the King with the Battle of Helm's Derp. And like the last battle, a lot is happening, but not a lot happens, if you know what I mean.
I feel like Uwe Boll was just trying to take the cinematography that was given in Helm's Deep and trying to
add in like 50,000 camera cuts.
Yeah, that.
It kind of hurts to look at times.
I thought we weren't going to be too negative about this.
I think the movie needs to come with a seizure warning.
No, really, it does. They in the last fight scene, they did like 7 cuts in 1 second of just Galleon looking at Farmer and back and forth, and oh god.
Don't get me wrong, I love this movie. It is so god awful, but I'm not trying to dwell too much on the negatives of the negative tactics of this movie. This is something that I put on for people, and we just snark our way through it.
We've seen this like 10 plus times.
Well, I have. I've only inflicted it on John once.
I think that's all.
One is what times too many.
So anyways, the Battle of Helm's Deep begins with a supernatural darkness encompassing the battlefield. Naturally, torches are placed immediately and the rain begins to fall. Not wanting to leave out any cliches, the defenders begin to light their arrows on fire, wait well past the point of when the first volley should have been fired, tumble down some papier-mâché boulders, and Tresbians begin flinging Jason Statham around.
They're working on their MXC impact replay value.
I can't even begin to describe what that scene is supposed to be doing, let alone how it worked.
I think
it's like a slingshot or a whip, right?
I think the best description is in the movie is when Helmet is just rolling down the hill, like in the middle of the shot, and that describes it perfectly. It's just rolling through the mud, not knowing what's going on.
Well, I would like to point out, what's the point of having flaming arrows if you're not going to have oil on the battlefield to actually light on fire? What are you lighting on fire? A person getting hit with an arrow on fire does not light the person on fire. That's not how that works.
And as we've seen, the Krug can survive that, and they go up and hug people while they're flaming.
Yeah. Now you don't just have zombies. Now you have zombies that are on fire.
Anyways, finishing off the synopsis of it, Gimli, playing Gandalf in this movie, gets into the most rhythmic sword fight I have ever seen.
I thought that scene was actually really cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a couple of wizards animating swords. I don't like the fact that the swords were very bad CG.
Well, yeah. But it was a cool scene.
Yeah, I mean, what would if a wizard conjured a sword in front of you? It would probably look pretty CG in the real world.
I like the summon CGI monster. Just kind of like the difference between the two wizards. How the one guy's had more of like a steely determination, whereas the other guy had like blatant ambition. Mm-hmm. So he had more swords, but the other guy's sword was able to cut through his, which was kind of cool. I did like that kind of.
That's almost like it would be subtle storytelling.
Yeah, that was.
If it weren't in a Uwe Boll movie,
right.
Anyways, the humans naturally decide to charge downhill and engage in one-on-one combat, getting rid of most of their advantages.
With the ninjas leading from the front.
Of course, because that's where ninjas belong, in the front lines, using the blender attack.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, Jason Statham beheads the eviler David Copperfield, and the wannabe orcs instantly go back to being stupid and just walk away.
They were a very peaceful people.
The sun immediately begins to shine, and Blind Guardian and Hammerfall start playing.
Yeah.
End of movie.
Yeah, the Krug just never wanted to fight from the first place. They don't like to live on the surface. They're obviously subterranean dwellers.
We're really sorry about killing your son, sir. We're gonna bring over a wine basket and help you rebuild your town and everything. And like I said, we're really sorry. It's just some asshole got in charge, and it's not our fault, okay?
I'd also like to point out that the Lornado, the book Tornado Wizard Attack. Deckard Cain, is that you?
It's really throwing the book at him with that.
And also, how do you pin somebody with books?
Very efficiently, apparently.
And very carefully.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have any paper cuts.
Oh yeah.
'Cause that would have been very painful.
So he like picks them up off the ground with them. Like if you tried to grab things with books, it doesn't really work that well.
Magic.
What were the books for? Just use magic.
So, well, we did talk about this briefly, but it was in the middle of the synopsis. Arrows. Never light them on fire.
Unless there's a reason for it.
Well, okay, so two things with lighting arrows on fire. One is either you have to put a lot of stuff at the front of the arrow, making it way off balance.
Yep.
And which means that also it's not going to be efficient at actually,
Piercing anything? No, that's
Yeah.
not the point of it. Though. That's not why you light it on fire. It's to light something else on fire.
Yeah.
A distance away from you. That is the only purpose it serves.
They were wearing paper mache armor.
It was raining. It was wet.
But you don't do it to just fight other infantry.
No.
Ever.
You dig trenches, fill them with something flammable, and then shoot the flaming arrows at the trench full of flammable liquid.
Assuming the enemy was stupid enough to not realize that was there.
And
Well, it's just like digging mines. Trenches have very effective uses in combat if you're actually prepared for a battle, especially
Yeah.
like if you're in a defensible position. It's a smart plan. It decreases the enemy's visibility.
It's
You
a
already
smart-
know where they're coming
It's a
from.
smart plan in the right situations. This was not remotely that situation.
Or that plan.
I mean, for how muddy it was as well, them running down the hill probably wasn't a great idea either because
It's gonna slip.
you saw a lot of people fall down in it. I'm sure that wasn't some of it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the humans should have been just standing there firing volley after volley at the enemy, pushing those boulders downhill and just hacking anything that actually gets up to you, because I don't care how strong the Krug are, they just had to trudge uphill in the rain.
Yep.
That's going to make even, the Krug exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But meeting them halfway down means they don't have to do as much work, meaning that you're making their jobs easier.
Also, I'd like to point out that the humans didn't have any type of fortification set up at the top of that hill. They were just standing on the top of the hill.
Yep.
And
no pikes, no
No walls, even like rudimentary like stick walls.
no
nothing.
palisades.
Exactly, like nothing.
And fighting at the edge of that forest, stupid idea. That's actually where you'd want to let them come at you, like get up to even ground and come at you. Because if you just go 10 feet back, those Tresbians can be working their vine magic.
Yeah, somehow one of the Krugs getting picked up by the Tresbians and thrown into a tree, and it's suddenly dead. It's kind of...
honestly, they should have been flinging them back down the hill, using them as either makeshift boulders or just flinging them far enough that they'll die when they hit the ground, and preferably hit another Krug.
Yeah, but they get launched out of catapults and they're fine, even when they're on fire.
Yep, and land and hit trees as well. And go
Why
and hug
weren't
people.
the Tresbians? I gotta be careful not to say that word wrong. Why weren't they using the vines just to trip the enemies so that way they're easier to kill? Once they're on the ground, you can just get on top of them and stab them or hit them
Yep.
with something.
Coup de grace them. It would make it
Exactly.
so much
Like
easier.
just have the vines go across the ground and just start wrapping around people's ankles and tripping everybody.
They,
Like,
they
that
could
would have been
still
way
stay.
better.
They could stay in formation and then just have like a couple pikes just go. All right, coup de grace, coup de
Yeah.
grace, coup de grace. As
Exactly.
they're tripped.
That would have been way smarter and much more efficient.
And then you have General Aziel and Commander Teresh, leading from the front as well. When clearly it's shown that the leaders are the most important people, and Commander Teresh almost dies because of it. If it wasn't for Jason Statham's timely beheading of Galleon, then
Evil David Copperfield.
yeah.
Sorry, evil David Copperfield.
Young Decker King.
Man, Decker Kane sure was white when he was young.
Yeah, he didn't spend as much time in the desert yet.
Yeah.
Was the desert called in Diablo?
Luke Ghislaine.
But also, they were not firing enough volleys of arrows. Did I cover that yet? But
Yes,
that,
yes, you did.
sorry, that just sticks out to me with how inefficient they were at firing arrows.
Bad strategies.
Like I said, it seemed like they were trying to take all the good parts of the Battle of Helm's Deep, and as you have colloquially termed it, the Battle of Helm's Derp is very accurate.
Mm-hmm. Except Helm's Deep was actually a castle.
Technically, it wasn't a castle. It was a
Fort.
I will not get into the technical terms for Helm's Deep here because whenever Dan gets back, we'll finally do Helm's Deep, and he had a very long written review on that.
Mm-hmm.
I was so looking forward to that, but he got that job. So
Yep.
Look forward to that in our future episodes.
so that's everything in my notes because we kind of covered a lot of this stuff in the previous episode, and I didn't want to double up in the same movie at least.
Well, as you said, there was a lot that went on, but not a lot that happened.
Yeah. So, are there any other points that you two have for this?
Oh, I think I covered all my notes.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, so a surprisingly short episode today. So I would rate both the humans and the Krug at an F.
Yep.
The-
I agree.
The humans could have had an A with a few things, but they didn't do it because they had to seem like they were losing this fight.
They did
and-
everything as poorly as possible.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Krug.
Shouldn't have attacked at all in the first place. Walk around.
Yeah,
Wait till it stops raining.
They could have surrounded their forces and
I
eventually.
think it was an
taken them
act
out
of
one at a time.
desperation, basically, but
For the humans, I feel like.
no, I think
Or
it was
for the
more an
Krug.
act of desperation for the orcs because the Krug or Crud or whatever they are, just because
those
evil
orcs are
David
pretty cruggy.
Copperfield was in a rush to get stuff done because he knew people were coming from him. I'm
Well,
assuming.
it was established earlier in the movie that the only way into that fortress is to be a wizard.
Yep. Or
So-
be Jason Statham.
So what was the point? Or he had no reason to go out because they clearly had enough food in there to survive a siege.
Mm-hmm.
They had other ways out that the enemy army couldn't have blocked off.
Yep.
They would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why there needed to be a fight from their point of view.
Nope. Yep. It was just really bad.
All right.
So wow, that's rare that we all agree on a rating.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the worst battles I've ever seen for any reason.
But it was still fun to watch when it wasn't being extremely cut or
You know what?
quick
I
cutting.
think I have cancer now because I watched.
I think
that.
we have different definitions of fun.
But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Are we blithering idiots? Do you agree with some of our points? Let us know. And hey, maybe start suggesting some movies because I'm running low on ideas. No, I've actually got plenty, but it's always good to hear about different movies, get some ideas going. Anyways, do we even have a peace out?
I think that is the peace out.